factor?
When things get tough, I think it's Coach Bordley's voice you hear in the back of your head, you know, to say, to hang in there and not give up and to buckle down. So I think I've talked to many people, you know, and I think that's one of the most valuable life lessons. You know, his tenacity and his perseverance, you know, just encouraging you, and you know, getting on you. Sometimes he's your worst critic, but sometimes we need to be our own worst critic to improve.
I mean, I think that, you know, today, as a lawyer, I think about, you know, what is it that I do, and does it have, you know, what shapes like what I do, and you know, in my work I have to be prepared. I have to be thinking about what my opponent's going to be doing. I have to be thinking about, you know, how to be ready to expect the unexpected and how to motivate not only me but the people I work with. And there's really not a day that goes by without me thinking about something that, you know, Robbie Bordley did, you know, at Landon, whether it was trying to motivate somebody or, you know, the way he was preparing, or even like, you know, his being like an exercise freak. I mean, he would just always run, you know, during lunchtime or, you know, during free period. And I think that's because he just had a motor that didn't stop. And I think what it taught me is that if you really want to be successful, if you want to be a competitor, you have to have that motor, and you just have to, you know, continue to try to be the best.
With the success of the program, it has to be attributed to Coach Bordley. When we first started playing, we had some good athletes, and we kind of had a feel for what we were doing. He was an excellent player, and I think he tried to impart that. But over the intervening years, he became a real student and scholar of the game, and knows the game, all the nuances, all aspects of it. And I think he has really developed an environment where people, the boys that play here, have a chance to learn from the very best coaches and to play at a high level. And he has really instilled a sense of, we're going to be the best, and we're going to certainly be the absolute best we're capable of being.
Desires and requires the best out of his players at every single moment. And I think that's something that when you ingrain that in young players, they carry that on through whatever level they play at, and it was certainly the approach I took to Virginia, and I can only thank Coach Bordley for that. He always preached doing the little things right, with the understanding that if you do the little things, the big things follow. And that
there's just no quitting this guy. He's tremendous, he's courageous, he's tough, he's mentally tough, he's physically tough. He plays from start to finish. I mean, all the things he expects of you guys, of the kids, he expects of himself. And I don't know if I've ever been around him anywhere, at any level, where he's never, you know, given 100% the entire time. And that's a cliche, but I don't think I've ever been around him or I've ever seen him. We played summer league together. I mean, I don't think I've ever been around him where whatever he's doing, you know, you get everything he's got to give.
It's the little things that separate him from everyone else. You know, he's passionate about everything. You watch him after practice, and he's 30 yards in the woods looking for the last ball because he doesn't want to have to go buy more balls, or you know, he knows some little kid, the last kid on the bench, can be good, and he's passionate about him as he is about the best player on the team.
I think he's fiercely loyal, and you know, he signed his letters that way, and he's written me. I'm lucky that he's written me a lot, and I've got them all. And he usually signs them loyally, Rob. And so I think that's a pretty good word to describe him. And you know, he's just always been there for me since I was a middle schooler, since I first met him in 8th grade. Always with a word of encouragement.
The other thing I tell you with Rob that I've learned about is loyalty. Rob's one of these people that will write you a letter. He's terrible on email. He will pick up the phone and he will call you. He will call you for no reason. He will call you just to check on you and see how you're doing. He'll write you a note. He'll thank you for something that you were thanking him for. An appreciation for something or anything. A handwritten note, always signed personally. And I think he's shown that in some of the things that have happened. his tremendous loyalty to his students. And I don't think it's blind loyalty at all. I think it's a question of, one, I think there's a sense of fairness, and there's a sense of, on top of that, is doing the right thing. That also means admitting your mistakes and taking the consequences for it.
You know, he came to the defense of Dave right away, and he understood. He understood kids, and you know, when I spoke to him about it, and I said, "Yeah, you came to our defense very quickly compared to others," and he said, "Well, you guys looked me in the eye and told me nothing happened. I believed you," and that's something that a lot of people didn't.
He's like a dad, and I just think he's an incredible individual. He's strong-willed, but he also has this side to him that, especially as an alumnus, you see that he really cares about every single one of his players. And everyone who's gone through Landon, but really the guys who, you know, gave it all for him and gave it all for Landon Lacrosse, those are the guys. You know, you come back here for alumni games or alumni events, significant things happen in your life, good and bad, and he's the type of person who he's there for everyone. And I think that from that sense, he's just an incredible person. And, you know, he's a big part of Landon and Landon Lacrosse, and he means a lot to me, and I know he means a lot to most guys who come through this program.
I mean, I think Mr. Bordley is Landon, you know, everything he stands for.
The tradition continues. As I mentioned, my friends, my best friends, are Landon grads. My best memories are at Landon, unforgettable memories.
Playing for Landon, my goodness, such good memories, wonderful good memories, just the teammates. I think I remember the teammates more than anything. The camaraderie, the bus trips, driving up to Baltimore every other weekend, competing, just a love of my classmates, love of playing with guys I'd grown up with from birth, from cul-de-sacs, MYLA, Great Falls Lacrosse, but clearly, you know, you mentioned Landon Lacrosse, and you know, very, very successful. But I think it's just the teammates, the classmates, the guys that have those bus trips, the big wins that you cherish forever. More important than any goals you score, championships you win. Those are nice. You want to beat Brett, you want to beat St. Albans, and winning the ISC games and beating those MIAA teams are just those memories last forever.
I remember thinking I was part of something big and important. I think Robbie was able to instill in us that, unlike the other sports at Landon, that Landon Lacrosse was on to something that was going to be special.
Just every day, it was just such a level of intensity that you couldn't imagine. Every day, it's like, even talking about it gets me excited. Thinking about going out there for your first day of practice in March. It's freezing cold, and all you want to do is impress Bordley and do well, and play well, and play hard. So, I mean, it's hard to single out one different memory for me. It was all pretty special.
What I remember most, really the best days really were just your last period of class, whether it was your sophomore, junior, senior year, and knowing you're going to be with some of your best friends for life. And, you know, running over to the locker room, whether it's 95 degrees out or 40 degrees out, putting on the cleats, the shoulder pads, strapping on the helmet, walking up to the field, and knowing it was going to be a hard practice, but you're going to be with some of your best friends. And
that bond, it goes beyond lacrosse, it goes beyond Landon. It becomes a lifelong bond, but it starts there on the lacrosse field, and thanks to Rob.
A reminder just that I miss it every day. Playing for Landon, going to Landon, being at school every day was the most. A lot of people wake up in high school and they think it's a drag to go to school. I would wake up every morning just excited to go to school because of how much fun it was. Being able to play sports with all my best friends at a really high level.
Yeah, for me, one thing that sort of goes unsaid is just how much fun it was. You know, everybody talks about how intense it is and how much work it takes, but not included in that is just how much fun we had doing it. You know, this amount of stories we have that we're still telling to this day that we just laugh like for hours about the same things over and over again. It's pathetic, but you know, the way that the team is, the personalities that you have on the coaching staff, it's just hilarious. So I think that goes, you know, the amount of enjoyment that we had when we were playing, and even still talking and thinking about Landon Lacrosse is something that people don't always realize.
Definitely think about the field. We're being out there for practice, shooting around. Think about a shack. You know, we had some pep talks in there that were pretty intense and pretty special. Something I can still remember pretty clearly today.
Great things happened on that field. A lot of great goals. A lot of great moments. Yeah, I think there's so many just incredible games, and not just the prep games and seeing all those games. There's some huge wins there. Some incredible comebacks. One of those classics where guys you never expected to, you know, pick the ball off a trash goal, and you know, for the big win. You know, it just, to me, I smile because I just think of, like, I can think of 20 or 30 instances, and maybe you know, 20 or 30 kids that made that a pretty special place.
Prindle was, you know, that's where it all went down. That's where you know, all the games happened. The green shed was a great tradition. You know, getting in there pre-game, everybody's all fired up. You know, Bordley's going ape shit out there, just trying to get us fired up. And coming out of that green shed, you know, having that field, you know, you play prep or St. Albans, that entire bowl would just be lined with people. You know, the entire field would be surrounded. It was definitely brings back some fond memories. And then, you know, you had your off game experiences up there, where we would, you know, drive a car up the field there and, you know, park it, turn on some tunes, and, you know, just take your shirt off, catch some rays, and shoot the lacrosse ball all afternoon long. It's definitely something we used to do pretty regularly. So it's got some fond memories of good old Prindle Field.
Left, and I was at the end of the field that faces the hill, and you know, there were probably 5,000 people out there for the game and lined up on the hill, and just to see the game-winning goal and see everybody explode on the hill was probably my favorite moment of playing there. You know, I enjoyed, you know, Coach Bordley always had this system. You know, if we were playing a team that was like a speed team and we weren't as fast, he would always let the grass grow on Brindle Field. And then there were other times where, you know, he wanted us to be faster, so he'd, you know, mow it down really close to the ground. And, you know, the fact that he was both the head coach and I guess the groundskeeper for Brindle Field was kind of unique too.
The green shed, I think the kids missed something by not going to the green shed, because that green shed was sort of sort of an underground mecca. I think the kids, is sort of a shrine that kids need to touch and experience to, I think, fully appreciate the Landon Lacrosse. But the Prindle Field, the green shed, you know, that is Landon.
I always have fond memories of the green shed, where he would have these famous halftime speeches, and he would come in and he would just get everybody so amped up. Or if you were screwing up, he would get in your face and let you know this needs to change quickly.
Well, back then, I loved wearing the jersey that said Landon on it. I mean, it was something that filled me with a lot of pride.
I think it's just wearing that jersey, something special. You take great pride in wearing it and continue that tradition.
It was an honor, but it was something that you have to work for. You need to remember when you're playing, and if I ever get the chance to come back and help out at Landon, it's something that I would preach to the kids, is that you need to realize when you're working hard every day that you're not just playing for yourself. You need to look back and see how many unbelievable players have played for Landon, what they've been able to accomplish while they were there, and that's something that you need to carry on. It's your duty to give everything you have to Landon, to help out those alumni and to play for not just yourself.
A good opportunity for us to let Coach know how we feel about him, and you know, I know that I've been on the sidelines with you for the last couple years, and it's, you know, the tradition keeps going, and you know, Coach Bordley's you know, always making comments about you know, how old he is and I can't see anymore and this and that, but it's good to know that, you know, the fire still burns.